I loved when you jumped and that guy hit that thing. Welcome to Hey EW. I am RJ City, and my guest is Matt Sydal. Hey.
Hey.
Happy to have you here.
It's a thrill to be here. Mm-hmm. You know I've been wanting to do this for a while.
Yeah, I remember episode 1, you were like, hey, let me know, and then we sort of didn't.
Yeah, well, you did let me know for this one.
No.
And then I was late.
Not gonna get into it now. You're from St. Louis, Missouri, known for its cultural contributions to the blues. What's the saddest thing that ever happened to you?
Wow. What's the saddest thing that ever happened to me? I didn't think we'd have to revisit all my traumas so early.
Just pick one of them.
Well, I was picked last for kickball.
Okay, and how would you put that in lyrical form?
I was picked last for kickball, and it hurt me emotionally.
All right, not a rhymer, a little jazz there. St. Louis is also the home of Randy Orton. Do you have anything else in common with that guy?
Yeah, we both wrestled for WWE for a little bit. Yeah.
You both follow me on Twitter?
Yeah.
But I only follow you. What about classy Freddie Blassie, also from St. Louis? What do you have in common with him?
I'm pretty classy.
Okay.
Decent dresser.
Wonderful. What about American playwright Tennessee Williams?
My name, none of my middle, first, or last name is a state, so we don't have a lot in common.
Wow. Okay, got you there. Both your parents were school teachers.
That's true.
At your school?
At my elementary school growing up, my dad was the 6th grade teacher, and then when I got to 5th grade, when my older brother got to 5th grade, Mike Sydal, you may have heard of him, AEW wrestler, my dad switched to a different school and taught 6th grade till his retirement.
He abandoned you?
He just
at
went
the
to a different school, so there wouldn't be the conflict of parenting interest.
He cared about you.
Yes.
He didn't want to make it weird, but he still helped you cheat with the homework.
No, we were just obligated to do it. It was our duty.
You were the first person under 18 to get a Missouri wrestling license. Is that a point of pride for you, or is that the failure of the Missouri State Athletic Commission?
Well, I would say it is. We'll meet in the middle on that one because I'm proud of it.
Yeah, but what made you so special?
I saw the meeting happen. It was between the promoter, Big Bad Ben, and the Missouri State Athletic Commission guy, probably the same guy that's still there.
Yeah.
And they sat down and had a meeting. He was like, oh, this kid's fine. And, here you go. There's your wrestling license. And it meant the world to me. That wrestling license is still framed on my bookcase at home.
And that's always how I've described your work. Fine. You followed in your parents' Payless shoes and went to their alma mater, the University of Missouri, where you got a degree in marketing and became a vice president for a small mailbox company? What's a small mailbox company?
Well, a small mailbox is a mailbox about yay big.
Yeah.
No, so I worked, it's a bit of a misnomer, I would say. I worked my way up from shop boy. At the end of my high school, I started working for a company in their shop doing iron and aluminum, mailbox posts, welding, painting, destruction, construction, installation, these generic things. I worked my way up from shop boy all the way into the marketing department, and eventually I had my own store selling mailboxes and all this stuff. Wow. And I was eventually kind of just going crazy because all I wanted to do was wrestle, so I would work Monday through Thursday, my 40 hours, and then on Friday take off, go wrestle Friday, Saturday, Sunday, come home Monday, and get back straight to the job. It was crazy. I worked myself silly, and then finally I got booked in Europe. I took my vacation days to wrestle in England, and then I got booked to wrestle in Japan, and I said, I'm sorry, thank you for all the wonderful experience and for helping me out on my journey. I'm going to be a wrestler now. Wow. And then, people at Mailbox headquarters still support me to this very day. And if you're looking to buy your very own mailbox business, hit them up now because Mailbox headquarters is for sale.
Okay. Wow. Not one period in that whole thing. You originally wrestled under the name Matt.
Correct.
Did you know you were
Matt,
only going to get so far with that name?
4 capital letters, M-A-T-T. Sort of like Kenta back in the day had his name all capitalized.
Yeah. Were you the only Matt that you ever knew? You never met somebody else named Matt? You thought you were the only Matt in the business?
I was already wrestling as Matt Sydal at that time because I was a fantastic backyard wrestler.
Yes.
But the promoter at the first indie that I started with said I wasn't big enough to have a last name, so they just called me Matt because he was a
Wow.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Very disrespectful to me.
So, and then you have a brother, Mike Sydal.
Yes.
Did he ever wrestle under the name Mike? Was it ever just like Mike and Matt?
Yes, it was one time in AEW. We did that house show, and that's how we were announced.
And is it true that you have another brother?
Yes.
And he's not in the business at all. He must think the two of you are idiots.
No, Dan was my younger brother.
Yeah.
And I forced him to wrestle me in all these other backyard wrestling federations. So Dan can take a dragon suplex better than 80% of the roster.
But he has so much more stable employment now.
Yeah, he's a teacher.
You wrestled for IWA Mid-South. That place was nuts, right?
Yes, it was.
Nuts in a, I'm glad I had that experience, or nuts in a, I'm glad I'm still alive?
Nuts, and I'm glad I had that experience. I mean, that's where I got to meet, like, Necro Butcher for the first time. And Madman Pondo was one of the guys that vouched for me. He saw me wrestle in St. Louis and said, kid, you got to get the hell out of this town and go wrestle somewhere else. And then I went and wrestled for IWA Mid-South, and that's when I realized, oh, everybody's way better than me, and I just had to...
continue being fine.
Yeah, we'll continue occasionally doing death matches.
Right. Then you go to Ring of Honor and you team with Fast Eddie Vegas as the Air Devils, a name chosen by the fans. That should probably be the last time fans pick a team name, right?
I've always thought it's a terrible idea to let the fans pick a team name. I've never agreed with that. Just like I never agreed with when I had to tag with Fast Eddie whatever. Like, I don't remember.
And you guys teamed together once?
He was kind of blind. Okay. So that was a bit of a challenge.
Blind
but
Eddie Vegas
we came to see eye to eye.
Yeah. Really nice. Really came prepared.
Looking for periods.
You also did Wrestling Society X on MTV.
Yeah.
When you were doing it, did you think, yeah, this is going to change the business?
This is going to jinx the business?
Is it going to change the business?
Oh, change the business.
Did you thought you were doing
that's
something
what the
important?
producers and the people in charge of Wrestling Society X were like trying to convince me in the trailer. They're trying to get me to sign that contract. They were just telling us, oh yeah, we're going to be live in all these countries. I mean, it was such a pitch. And I was just happy to get paid to wrestle because at this time, I was wrestling in Japan. And I didn't really live anywhere. I didn't really I just kind of lived out of a suitcase. So the Wrestling Society X was awesome because we got to go to California. They paid for our hotel. These are things that had never happened to me before, like having food at the meal. Like for me, it was extravagant. Wrestling Society X. And yes, it did change the business.
Evan Bourne. Evan
U.S. Hey, odd seeing
Evan
you
Grow.
here, even.
Evan Age. Evan Old. Evan Sick. Evan Die. Any regrets?
Evan's circle of life has a few regrets, but life's perfect, just the way it is.
And then you get released. And most wrestlers would try to hit the indies or do a bitter shoot interview. You do the best thing ever. You go on an ayahuasca retreat in Peru. And this was before the Problematic podcast we're telling people to go. So what bad state were you in that you even wanted to go on this?
Going to Peru was just me at a time in my life where I was a single man. I didn't exactly have a bunch of bills to pay. I was looking for adventures, and I didn't realize I would come upon a divine spiritual awakening in the jungle and meet a shaman who loved pro wrestling just as much as you and I and everybody watching at home.
Did the shaman watch Wrestling Society X?
I don't know if he watched Wrestling Society X, but yeah, I think he did.
So
a lot of AAA because it's down in Peru. So
if I got this correct, the ayahuasca does not take, right?
Yeah, I mean, I did it. It just...
So instead of asking for a refund, they get a monk who gives you some sort of cactus.
Yes.
You did cactus.
Yes.
And you have a spiritual awakening.
Yeah.
Blows your mind so much that you convert from Judaism to Buddhism, sort of like a reverse Sammy Davis Jr.
No, definitely not a Buddhist. I mean, I definitely studied a lot of Zen Buddhism, and I enjoy reading about all religions. I enjoy learning about how everybody sees things from their perspective, but I believe your religion is like your own because it comes from your own perspective. So I don't have a dogma per se.
Right.
But I would say the cactus is like a part of me. I grow cactus from seeds. I have a garden with thousands of cacti, all sorts of varieties. Some flower, some are blue, some are green, some are tall, some grow out like a fan.
Wow.
They're beautiful. If you checked my Instagram today, I probably posted like 3 pictures
Won't be
of
doing
cacti.
it, but thank you. So you're more like one of those Buddhists who just posts on Instagram, like a Rick Rubin Buddhist?
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm definitely inspired by that. No, I mean, I follow like Ram Dass. I'm a certified mindfulness meditation teacher by David Nichtern and Dharma Moon. I mean, I could do a 10-minute mindful meditation here with everybody in this room.
We have, and you haven't used one period. See, this is, you know, my other question is about, like, Buddhism. You can just say you're a Buddhist. You know what I mean? Like Catholicism, it's like, oh, drink this, and you got to add a middle name and all. And then Buddhism is like, what do you do? It's like nothing, and that's the point, right? I think we just became Buddhists. This is wonderful. Was your spiritual awakening sort of like when a wrestler comes back with a new gimmick?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, except I just try not to make it my gimmick because it was kind of personal.
Sure.
So, you know, I just kept wrestling regularly.
Do you ever think you'll become born again?
Yeah, no, well, I did Reborn for a little bit. And
it didn't take.
And Born Again, none of that just really, like, when it was on a shirt, it didn't feel right to me.
I understand.
You know, and puns are, you know.
You're very
Your level
influenced
comedy.
by fellow Buddhist and philosopher Alan Watts.
True.
True. I'm going to read you some quotes. Tell me if it's Alan Watts or Eddie Kingston.
God bless it.
You are the universe experiencing itself.
Alan Watts.
Waking up to who you are requires letting go of who you imagine yourself to be.
Alan Watts.
I'm a grown-ass man, and I will put you in the ground and smile.
King.
Very good. I swear on my beautiful mother's eyes, if you don't shut up, I'm gouging your eye out.
Eddie Kingston.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think the circumcision helped you do such a clean shooting star press? Because sometimes I'll see a sloppy dive and I'll go, that guy's got a foreskin.
Yeah. I mean, I see where you're coming from with it. How did it work for you?
I don't go to the top rope, and I'm not going to explain why. Okay. You still call it a shooting star press, right? Even after the spiritual awakening, you were doing shooting star press before, you do all this cactus stuff, and you still call it a shooting star press?
I mean, I don't call it anything. Whoever commentates on it or people, like, I do the thing. Right. People can call it whatever they want to call it. Spiritual. A rose by any other name smells just as sweet.
Well, let me give you a few other names that are more in touch with this whole, this pink eye thing you got going on.
I was hoping you would come up with something good.
The chakra cleanser? Slam monk?
Named after my favorite show in USA.
I'm a big Tony Shalhoub guy.
Let's
Can't
go.
say USA, though.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yay, Buddha. Third Eye Blind. Going Gandhi. Namaste Down.
Yeah.
Alternative medicine.
Hey.
Ram this up your das.
Love it.
And finally, this isn't actually happening. Makes you think, huh?
It's a great confuser. They'll definitely stay down.
Yeah.
For me to do a double knees off the top or something.
You really thought you had something to add there, huh?
No, you really think I still do a shooting star press, don't you?
I haven't watched his matches in at least 8 years. Who would I be in my next life? I get it. We're air and ethereal. I get it. The spiritual plane. That's beautiful. That makes so much sense to me. Tremendous. And in silence, he said the most of all. Well, this has been a spiritual merging. And
truly.
Give me an enlightened quote to go out on.
You have to go out of your mind to come to your senses.
Oh, see, that's Eddie Kingston. I know Eddie when I hear Eddie.
It's so good. Hit it. Na 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 na.